Here we got a special guest for the On the Water podcast, Tim Dube. What's up, dude?
3 years old, I was told I would walk down to the dock wearing my life vest and I would fish the entire day. I hate rivers. Build an airport next to them, fill them with cement, make the parking lot. All this emotion starts hitting me like, holy smokes, you just did this.
Yeah.
And the first person I called was my dad, all choked up, can't talk, and me and him were just laughing, crying on the phone together.
Yeah. All right, well, this seems like a good time to ask Dad, can I borrow $100,000?
Well, that's when I told him, I'm like, hey, I got the Elite Series invite.
Welcome to another episode of the On the Water podcast. Beautiful.
Let's go! If you own a boat, whether it's a sport fish, a charter vessel, or a commercial rig, your insurance should be as reliable as your gear. That's where Largemouth Insurance comes in, specializing in marine coverage for yachts, charter boats, commercial vessels, and marinas. We understand the water because we live it. Dean Largemouth isn't just an insurance pro. He's a seasoned captain with years on the water. Protect your boat, your business, and your passion with a policy that actually fits. Visit LargemouthInsurance.com or call Dean directly, 203-644-4044, and get covered by someone who speaks your language. What's up, everybody? I'm Cheech. I got Robbie here. We got a special guest for the On the Water podcast, Tim Dube. What's up, dude?
You know, long-time listener, first-time caller.
I like it.
Happy to be here. This is, 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
Finally made the trip down to the Cape, and super excited to be here.
Nice. Well, if you guys don't know, Tim is on the Elite Series, pro bass fisherman. But I wanna get back into like what first got you into fishing. Like, how did you start?
I mean,
Where'd you grow up? How did you get the fish use that you have?
growing up southern New Hampshire, my family, every year we would go on a summer vacation where it would be a week or 2 weeks, and we'd always rent the lake house because we don't own the lake house or anything like that. And we go to different lakes all the time, and I guess I was kind of just obsessed with it. At 3 years old, I was told I would walk down to the dock wearing my life vest, and I would fish the entire day.
That's
at 3 years old, and I didn't care what I caught, just a bobber, a worm, and I had a time out there. And it just slowly progressed more and more and more.
Well, we're gonna get into a lot of different things, but one of the coolest things is that like you're not just the average, bass guy. Like you love to. I want to talk to you about bluefin tuna fishing.
I love catching tunas.
It's like it's you. Are you the only one on the tour that you know of that also has a addiction to tuna fishing?
There's only one other guy that I know of, and that's David Gaston. He's from Alabama, and he goes out into the Gulf from Alabama, and he catches, but he goes more for swordfish. He doesn't really like catching bluefins.
I see. That's cool. Where did that crossover first happen for you?
For fresh and salt?
Yeah.
Obsessed with just fishing. I love catching fish. I don't care what it is. The second you feel that bite and like it registers in your brain, that is what I'm the most addicted to. And it doesn't matter whether it's a bluegill, a bass, a perch, a 900-pound bluefin. Like I just love feeling that tug. And growing up, southern New Hampshire, close, 45 minutes from the ocean.
Yeah.
And just had a lot of friends that were pretty salty guys, and they're like, "Oh, you catch bass? That's cool."
Yeah.
They're like, "We can show you something else." And I'm like, "Oh, what's something else? Let's go." And went out there and caught some stripers, and I was like, "Okay."
You remember that first trip?
Not the very first one, but I remember catching like my first 44-incher. We go by inches up there, not by pounds. They're, what do you call them, river rats up there?
River racers.
River racers, yeah. They're not thick.
Yeah.
And I remember catching like that very first one. I was like, all right.
This pole's a little different than
There's something bigger out there than just freshwater bass.
Yeah.
And then it was like a couple years after that, I went tuna fishing, and I was like, all right, I'm all done. I am now ruined. There is nothing.
It really ruins you.
There's nothing on this world that I've experienced like a tuna.
It legitimately dominates everything you think about, and like you don't care about another species, and you will come back.
Yeah.
But for a time when you first get that taste, it's like game over. It's all I care about. All I want to do. This is the only fish in the world for me to catch. And then you end up coming back to reality. Like, this isn't sustainable to do this 24/7. So I guess I have to catch other things too.
You'd lose your mind if you just did tuna fishing 100% of the time because they are so tough to catch. But then that's the other thing. It's so rewarding when you do get a bite. When you position the boat right, you get a bite. All your gear is up to speed, and then you catch that fish. There's nothing like it.
Does any of your experience as a pro bass angler cross over to the tuna game?
I mean, keeping your head in the game would be the biggest thing. Being in the right mental state, because whether you're tournament bass fishing or you're tuna fishing, you have to be ready for when you get that bite. And you could be having a horrible day, and both worlds. You could be having a horrible day, and in half a second, it's turned around.
Yeah. That's literally
so you just have to keep your head in the game. You know, not get lazy while you're fishing. Keep making accurate casts if you're fishing for bass, or checking baits, making sure you're not fishing with just a hook out there on a tide change or something like that. Making sure everything is perfect, so that when you do get that bite, you can capitalize.
Both styles of fishing involve long days on the water too.
Absolutely.
People don't understand like how long a tournament bass fishing day is and how long it feels sometimes, especially when you're only fishing for 5 bites and you're trying to really figure it out. It's exhausting. It's mentally exhausting, and you have to really pay attention to everything at all times as well. You can't let yourself go, you know?
Yeah, you have to be
it crosses over between both, and like coming from someone who's like 50-50 fresh and salt, who's like, I grew up addicted to largemouth and smallmouth bass fishing. But also, like, my dad was a huge saltwater angler, so I had an appreciation for both at a very young age. There's something to be said from what a freshwater bass fisherman can take from their realm to saltwater, and it's like paying attention to the environment, paying attention to everything that's going on in the water. Like, there's a lot that goes into catching those little green fish, as you would know.
Oh, yeah.
All around the country, like, conditions change, the bites change throughout the day, and I think that's one of the big things that transition from both, you know?
Definitely fishing the ocean, you learn a lot more about tides and current and how a certain incoming tide will position fish somewhere, where an outgoing they'll pull them somewhere else, and then you can translate that when you go fish a tidal river like the Potomac River, or in Texas this year the Sabine, where everything changes, and it's fun kind of relating the both together, but it's also very different at the same time.
Yeah. Do you like those situations with your experience for saltwater fishing? Like, I would imagine that messes with a lot of guys that are just like lake fishermen.
I hate rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, build an airport next to them, fill them with cement, make it a parking lot. Outside of the St. Lawrence River, but then I run to Lake Ontario, so it's different.
Yeah.
But I am not a river fisherman.
Okay.
Which is weird because growing up, I fished the Nashua River because it was 5 minutes from my house 3 times a week.
That's interesting. It's just one of those things where it's
I don't like it.
They're not good to me, so
yeah,
scroll.
exactly.
I like it.
Everyone has their little niches and all that, you know. One of the things, though, the bluefin talk is awesome, but Tim here has made quite the reputation for himself.
I had to get a couple questions in because you love the bass tournament scene. Like, I love fishing a couple tournaments a year too. It's really cool, but I don't know it like intimately from a fan as you do. So I had to get a few questions in.
Yeah,
it's also bluefin tuna season.
Yeah, it is.
Bass season's over.
So
it's never over.
I gotta say, like, what? So Tim is, one of the few on the Elite Series right now that fish this year that's from the Northeast.
Yeah.
And growing up as someone myself that has been a huge fan of Bassmaster my whole life, seeing guys that come out of the Northeast and can compete on the national level, like, it hits close to home. It shows like how versatile we are as Northeast anglers across the country. But one of the things that I noticed when I first heard of you and looked at your social media, I saw a picture down there. Like, I kind of went down a little bit, but I saw you holding a nice bass out of a Cape Cod pond that I grew up fishing.
Yep.
And that I still have a house on to this day. And I'm like, damn, this dude went from fishing this pond on the Cape that I grew up fishing to fishing in the Bassmaster Classic. Like, that is pretty cool. You know, that speaks to, like, that you can do that. So that's one of the reasons why I gravitated to you so early. So it's like, I guess for something for our listeners, like, how did you find yourself in the Elite Series? Like, what was your path to get there? What did that look like for you? Like, I mean, you were...
Well, the journey started at 3 years old. We got that far.
Yeah, we got that
So
far.
how,
Like,
how
you
does
know-
that happen?
So, you know, I love fishing. So I just kept fishing. And growing up, I played baseball, lacrosse, soccer, football. I played everything I could, basketball. And then I got into high school and I played like 2 or 3 sports. And then I got out of high school and I was like, well, now what? You know, I have all this competitiveness in me.
Yeah.
And I found out that, hey, they have these things called bass fishing tournaments. I'm like, what the heck are those?
Yeah.
How can I get in on that? And this old timer from New Hampshire, I was fishing by his dock. And he goes, hey, I have a tournament tomorrow. Do you want to fish it with me? Random guy.
Get out of here.
Yep. His name was Dick Raymond. And he was like a New Hampshire legend.
That's awesome.
And I was like, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. And I went out with him and quickly realized that I had no idea what I was doing as far as bass fishing. Like, I had no idea. I would just go circle.
It's humbling.
I would beat the bank, go in a circle, and,
Yep.
you know, throw
It
a
is
Senko
humbling.
with an ugly stick.
Yep.
And it was wild, but I loved it. And I'm like, all right, that's where it's at, you know? And I kind of just dove right into it, fishing small clubs in New Hampshire where it's, you know, a $50 to $100 entry fee. And if you win $300. Like, nothing crazy.
It's not about the money. It's
It
I won a
wasn't
tournament.
about the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about beating everyone else.
Yeah.
And I had my fair share of humble pie for like the first 3 years. And then finally started, like, you know, piecing it together a little bit. And that started when I started fishing with other people. And I fished with a guy who was very good at smallmouth fishing. And, you know, he would always tell me, he's like, you learn too fast. He's like, I can't show you anything. You learn too fast. And I guess I had a good memory when it comes to fishing because I don't forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had that in school. But it was just something I absolutely loved, couldn't get enough of. And I started fishing as many tournaments in New Hampshire as possible. And that's when I found out about the New Hampshire Bass Nation. And the Bass Nation is an affiliate with Bassmaster Bass Nation. And they have... it was called the STQT, State Team Qualifying Tournament, where if you finish top 12, you'd be on the New Hampshire State Team and you go compete at a regional level against the Northeast, all the other Northeast states.
Right.
So the first year I was eligible to do it, I made it, which I thought was a big deal at the time.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, this is cool. I'm an 18-year-old
Yeah, this is
kid.
easy.
Like, yeah. And then I go to the regional level. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing again. And it just
Do you remember the lake that first time?
Sebago Lake in Maine.
Oh, that's a big, deep, clear, tough lake to
So
fish.
how'd that first one go when you obviously get it done?
I was too nervous to sleep the night before. I was a train wreck out
Yeah.
there. And it's at the time, the way the format was set up, I was a boater, but I could run the boat for 4 hours, and then the other guy was a co-angler, but he could run the boat for 4 hours.
Okay.
So you kind of split your time up of like who was on the front, who was on the back. And I loved it, but I had no idea what I was doing again. And I just slowly kept picking more and more up, and I kept fishing the state team, kept going to the regionals, and at the regionals I would do horrible, never make it to nationals. And then it was 2021. I fished the regional on the, or 22. I fished the regional on the St. Lawrence River during a spawning event, and I ended up winning the whole deal. And I went to nationals, and I did horrible again. And the biggest thing I could equate it to was like, back home, I would always say, you know, I'm fishing. I'm not doing this for a living. This is fun.
Yeah.
I need to have fun with it. And like, if it doesn't go your way, like whatever, but let's just go out and have fun. And I actually had a lot of success doing that.
Yeah.
But then I would forget it the second I made a big tournament. I'd be like, no, this is business now.
Yeah.
We're not, no more fun. And I would do horrible.
Yeah.
So I eventually just kept the mindset of let's just go have fun and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that was when I went to nationals the first time on Pickwick Lake.
Yep.
And again, I did horrible because I was all serious. I didn't take in the experience. I was locked in, laser focused, and fished like absolute crap out there.
Yeah.
And then the next year, they ended up changing the format for Bassmaster. So it was the last year of like the state teams and the nationals where it's only 55 boats or 58 boats.
Yeah.
And I said, this is my last year.
Back when I spent my summers scooping minnows and selling crab traps from behind a tackle shop counter, Quantum was our best-selling saltwater reels. Since breaking back onto the saltwater scene in 2024, Quantum has been reclaiming that spot with the new Benchmark and Strive spinning reels. So far this year, I've been kicking around the backwaters, casting jigs to weakfish, fluke, and schoolies with my Benchmark 2500. In just a couple months, I can't wait to pit its CFX 200 carbon fiber extreme drag system against Albies and Bonito. My kids, and let's face it, me too, have been loving fishing the Strive 3000 combos around the docks for scup, sea bass, and anything else that's going to eat a piece of freezer-burnt squid. For $150, these are reliable setups we'll have season after season for when they're ready to graduate from the scup and sea bass to the stripers and blues. The Benchmark 6000 that I've been using in the surf since last summer is still performing like new thanks to the Seal Lock 6 protection that prevents water, sand, and salt from getting into the body and spool of the reel. And Quantum's not just coming back with reels. They also have the Myth lineup of saltwater rods. I recently had a chance to fish these in Florida, pitching live baits to tarpon and snook and throwing poppers at jacks. These rods blend strength and sensitivity and have all the makings of a great rod for big striped bass. To learn more about Quantum's saltwater reels and rods, visit quantum.com. Quantum, tested beyond limits.
I was like, I'm not going to do the regionals after this. I'm not going to do the nationals after this. I'm going to go saltwater fishing.
Yeah.
Because I had started catching bluefin tunas, and that just
like, oh,
ruins your world.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing like it. And I went down to the Potomac River in my last ever regional,
Yep.
and I qualified for nationals. And I was like, oh, this is my last ever nationals. And then I made the Elite Series.
So
right from that, like, how does that transition happen from nationals to elites?
well, here, let's backtrack really quick before we
Yeah.
take that step. You won the regional at Potomac River, or you
So
qualified top 10.
I was the best person from New Hampshire.
Okay.
So they took one person from each state.
Yep.
So even though it was like a paid event 1 through 25, I think it was, the top angler from each state goes to the nationals.
Okay. And nationals was, do you remember where that was that year?
Lake Hartwell.
How did you fish there?
I finished second,
You finished second?
and that's what qualified me for the elites.
Okay,
Because
so-
the guy who won was already on the elites.
Okay, so they only take the one guy that wins national to the Elite Series.
Yes.
Who
And then
won?
Will Davis Jr.
Oh yeah, he's a good angler.
Yeah. And my roommate.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah.
So, like, what does that feel like when you're fishing that event and you're like, oh man, I'm putting a day together here?
Well,
Would you expect to be surprised? Like, if I'm catching them like this, like, you know,
Well, Hartwell is a cleaner lake for down south. Spotted bass, which I never really fished for prior to that, but they act just like smallmouth. And that's what I related it to. And out on Hartwell, there's cane piles, which I think they have competitions of who can build the best brush pile or best cane pile. And that holds the fish onto them, but I couldn't make any of those fish bite. They were the most educated fish I've ever experienced.
Yeah, because everyone's fishing them, right?
Everyone's fishing them.
Yeah.
And I was having a horrible practice. We had 3 days of practice. Horrible practice for the first day and a half. And like the second, on day 2 of practice, about, I think it was 3 o'clock. Because we can practice daylight to dark.
Right.
And I'm out there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do what I do back home in the fall. And I'm just going to hit the bank and throw a jig.
That's how I would do it.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I pulled up on this point, super shallow where you're not supposed to catch them.
Yeah.
And I started catching some fish, and they were good ones. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Girl, I like when they eat. There were no nets allowed in this tournament, and I'm like, I'd much rather catch them with a jig than say a drop shot or something finesse because
yeah.
I'm just gonna wench them in the boat and boat flip every single one. Not worried about breaking the line on 17-pound tests.
Yeah.
And I found 5 or 6 other places where they were all up shallow, and I talked to another guy from New Hampshire who qualified as a co-angler, and his son is going to college down there. And I told him what I was doing. He goes, "That's not something that people do down here." I'm like, "But it's working." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "If it's working," he's like, "Go for it." But that's like not a known thing.
Yeah.
Like people don't do that.
So you zigged when everyone else zagged, essentially.
I did something different.
Took your New Hampshire brain and background and put it there.
Yes. A
That's-
bass is a bass is a bass.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what part of the country they're an ambush predator.
Yeah.
They need to be around some kind of bait, something to eat, and they need some place to hide.
Yeah.
You think simplifying
is-
things to those terms kind of helped you into the career that you have now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm out fishing on a new body of water, it's just like a bass is a bass is a bass. They have to be somewhere.
That's interesting because, you know, it would mess with me. I'm super competitive, like real bad competitive,
competitive.
right? So I feel like anytime I feel
heard
like
him
I'm
when he
out of
won
my
the
comfort zone.
In-office bass tournament.
Yeah.
Can't believe you let them win.
I did.
Let them win.
I
you know?
couldn't
So-
catch one over 6. I couldn't do it.
Scrub.
I feel like you get into that zone where it can freak you out, where you're literally having to compete in a place that you've never been to before, in a region you've probably never fished before.
Yeah.
And with spotted bass, in that case, a species you've never even messed with before. So it's like that would really freak me out. How did you transition from basically letting your mindset derail every next step up to being like, I'm just chilling?
Because, well, the first day of practice,
Yeah.
I did everything you were supposed to do
Yeah.
on that body of water. There's a lot of history on Lake Hartwell, and you can find a lot of research on that body of water. And I was doing everything the internet said to do. And it got to a point where I was just like, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm not going to weigh 9 pounds in this tournament. I'm going to try and do something different.
I'm either going to
And
go
I
zero
was
or hero.
mentally broken down enough after, sun up to sundown day of catching nothing. Nothing essentially, like 13, 14 inches, to went the second day, and I think it was like 2:30 or 3 o'clock. And I always say, what you are doing is not working.
Mm-hmm.
Don't square peg, round hole it.
Yeah, exactly. And I took my sandwich out, and I just started idling, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go way up on top of that point right there and see what's on top. Never fished it before. I was like, I'm just going to go look on top, and I'm going to go right down that bank, and I'm going to throw a jig, and I don't care. And it just so happened that point was absolutely loaded with fish.
Oh, look at this.
Oh,
At what point do you
oh,
pull
look
the
at
brakes
those.
back and stop upsetting what you figured you? Because I mean, that's a big part of practice to tournament. You don't want to.
I caught one,
All right.
and it was a 4-pound spotted bass.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I was like, okay. And then I used my live scope, and I panned around, and I just, every time I see a fish, I would just hit mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept going. And I was like, mark, mark, mark. And then if I went 400 yards, 500 yards, this was a huge point, I would catch another one. And every single fish I threw out with a jig, it would catch it on the way down.
I
That's
love
the
when they do
best.
that.
That is the best.
And you're like, there he is.
They're always good too.
Yeah.
Cheech had a good
You-
one the other day.
Do small ones do that? Is
I
that
don't think
only a
so.
big fish thing? Because every time you, like, I should have touched down the bottom, you reel up, and then you feel like the little bit, and it's like, oh, there's one there. It's always big. Why?
Always. I don't know. Reaction.
It's from the, like, just from the banks throwing it. It's
Yeah.
like when I get bit on the fall, it's like, oh, I got to go one.
Yep.
I don't even have to, and I set the hook. I'm like, I do have a good one.
Well,
Dude, that one the other day, you had, sorry to interrupt, on my boat when we went out before work, we fished one of my favorite brush piles in a local
Oh,
pond.
that was bullshit.
And yeah, but it was awesome because like I put my live scope on it and there was a freaking 1.5 sitting on it. I'm like, all right, Cheech, here you go. He puts it down, the thing comes right up off the bottom.
He's like, oh, you ate it.
I'm like, just don't even feel it, just set the hook. And
Yeah.
he sets the hook and up comes jumping like a 4-pound smallmouth.
He threw the
and
jig right
threw
back
the jig
at
right back at him. I was like, Cheech was so upset the rest of
I
the
was
morning.
like, I
I'm
just like to
dude,
put my hands on fish.
I know.
Like,
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You
It's
just
like,
want to touch them.
he got the best part of it.
I see. I agree with a lot of that sometimes, especially with like certain species, like tarpon. If you can jump one, chances are you're going to lose anyways. Who cares? You got
Yeah.
the best part of it. But like, I just always put myself if I was out fishing in one of the 1 or 2 tournaments that I might end up fishing a year on the freshwater side of things, like that can't happen. That could be a day ruiner right there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how my brain works. But I love the jig. I think it's my favorite.
Big fish eat jigs.
It's
too.
so
No, it's
fun. Like before live scope and everything too. Like I learned my lakes and everything with bottom contact with the jig. Like that was my live scope before live scope. You
Yeah,
know? Like a heavy tungsten jig, feeling the bottom. You know,
Oh,
I feel like
there's
you're
a
in
soft
touch.
bottom. There's a
Yeah,
hard bottom.
you're in touch with the lake.
Yes.
You know, you really are with it. So anyway, take us through like the actual competition after practice. Like how did that go?
So day one rolls out, and I think I was about 28 out of. I was right in the middle,
Yep.
and I run over to that one point where I caught the 4
Only one
pounder.
there.
There was 3 people way out deep.
Yeah, of course. On the brush
Like, well,
piles.
I can't make those fish bite. I'm just gonna go do my own thing. And I think it took me 20 minutes to have like 14 and a half pounds, which at the time was good.
Yeah.
And then I ran to another point, and I mean, it was like rapid fire. Like I think I caught 6 or 7 in the first half hour.
cracking the jig.
Cracking that jig.
That's sick.
And
So fun.
I went to another spot, and I caught a real big one, like a 4.5 pounder. And I like looked down at the scale. I'm like, we're at like 15 and a half right now. And everyone was talking about like 12 pounds a day is good.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we're going to go practice. And I just started, I had day 4 of practice the rest of the time. I just went and fished new water, trying to find more and more
Similar-
and more.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is a 3-day tournament?
3-day tournament.
In a lake that big, right? Because all these, bodies of water are massive, which
Yeah.
has to be kind of overwhelming too. But when you do find a pattern like that, I imagine you can just sit down in front of a chart and be like, all right, that looks to be
That's similar, that's similar,
Yeah.
that's similar. And that's exactly what I did. And I actually found 2 other spots that I caught really good ones off of during the tournament. And I was leading the whole tournament after day 1, fishing shallow with a jig. And I was the only one doing it.
wired to wire the win.
I did not wire the win.
Oh, it got interesting.
Because
So,
Will.
so day 2, instead of catching the jig, they were just thumping it for whatever reason. And like, it's always the weirdest thing with a jig. You hit them with a hook set as hard as you can. You get them into the boat and they open their mouth and the jig falls out.
Yeah. I've had that happen a few times.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing. They were like not eating it. They were just kind of like mouthing it that day. And I lost so many fish. And one of the things with bass fishing, it's, I've won a lot more tournaments in the last 10 minutes than I have in the first 10 minutes. And I always say, like, the very first cast in the morning, you're all fired up, amped up. That first cast is just as important as the last one.
Right.
And I ended up catching like a 3.5 pounder on day 2 with 33 seconds to go.
Yeah.
I checked in my bonus minute.
And there's no for people that don't know, there's no actual time clock. It's when you actually have to check in for weigh-in, or else there's penalties involved if you're late and all that. So another thing you have to keep in mind as an angler while you're fishing and try to figure out the whole time is how long it's going to take you to run back based off where you are, so give yourself the maximum amount of time to fish without being late.
Yeah,
so that's a factor.
I was a 3:30 check-in, so if you're a minute late, it's a 1 pound penalty.
Yep.
And I
Damn.
checked in at 3:30, like 28. So I was in my bonus minute. So I was like 32 seconds away from getting a 1 pound penalty.
Wow.
And in those 32 seconds, like checking in is just like in getting the boat to where it needs to be.
Yeah, there's a
All
guy
right.
on the end of the dock with a flag, and
Yeah.
you have to drive in, come off plane, idle, and be like, boat 22.
All right, and
Yeah.
there's your check.
And then he's like, yep, and checks
you
you
had
off.
20 something seconds left to spare.
Yes.
That's-
I was in the bonus minute, but I had a very struggle day, but I survived. And I went from first place to third place.
And that's when that big motor, that bass boat and that fast fiberglass kicks in there.
Absolutely.
You let that thing rip, make it in on time.
And so the only thing I was really concerned at was the Classic at that point after day 2.
Okay.
I was like, I'm probably not going to win, but I'm in third place, and you maintain third place, and I go to the Bassmaster Classic.
So
'cause
top 3 go
top
to the
3
Classic.
go to the Bassmaster Classic, and that's
Nice.
been like my childhood dream.
Yeah. Me
to
too.
go to the Classic. And so I go out on day 3, and on day 3 there's no co-anglers. It's just you, and then you have an observer.
Yeah.
And my observer, we had mutual buddies because he was from New Hampshire as well, my observer.
Yeah.
And we had mutual buddies, and he calls me the night before, and he's like, "Hey, do you know such and such?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's my boy." He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm good friends with him." I'm like, "Oh man, this is gonna be a party."
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we go out there,
The
and
stars aligning already.
I'm like, "Hey man," I'm like, "We're gonna treat this exactly how it is," because there was a cut after there was full field first 2 days,
Yeah.
and then you had a cut, and I think it was 12 boats on the final day.
Wow.
So not a lot of people out there. And I'm like, we're going to treat this exactly how it is. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, because it was Friday. I'm like, this is a Friday night Bush League tournament right now. I go, we don't care about anything else. We're just going to go have a time.
Yeah.
And however it works out, it works out. I'm like, we're just going to go have a time.
I'm getting butterflies right now.
It's not going to be serious. We're going to go out there. And well, they sent us in this rainstorm.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That was a liability in what they sent us out, because you couldn't see anything.
Wow.
While you're driving out. And I'm like, I hope the guy in front of me doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And I roll up on the first spot where I didn't catch them the second day. I caught them the first day, not the second day. And like the first fish is a 4-pounder.
Oh, boy.
Which is big. And
how does that feel?
I boat flip and I start screaming. And he starts screaming with me, and we're like high-fiving, fist bumping. And he's like, so much for a Friday night derby. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But then it fizzled out, and I had like 2 fish at 11 o'clock, and the wind started blowing, and going back to some New Hampshire routes, it's just like wind-blown point. There was this one island, and I was watching the waves crash on it.
Yeah.
Hadn't fished it the whole week. Hadn't thrown a spinnerbait the whole week. And I'm like, we're going to go chuck a spinnerbait on that island real quick.
Nice.
And he's like, really? You going to throw some blades? I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to go throw some blades. So I sit down. I rifle through my boat to find a spinnerbait. I grab a spinnerbait, pull a different rod out, tie a spinnerbait on, drive over the island. Like the first cast is a 3-pounder.
Yeah.
And then I proceed to load the boat on a place I've never fished, just flying by the seat of my pants, fishing the conditions.
Yeah.
And fishing the conditions is probably one of the biggest things I've learned through like the last 3 or 4 years of just what the lake's telling you, what the weather's telling you, and just like it's okay to fly by the seat of your pants and try something.
Yeah.
Shit, I kind of feel like I might be able to be a pro angler someday. There's still hope, because I just end up doing like that. It's like you just go with your instincts, and you know it either works or it doesn't.
Exactly.
Switch it up again.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I ended up catching the biggest bag that day.
Wow.
On the final day. And I remember rolling in the weigh-in, and I rolled up to Will Davis, and I knew Will Davis from the year before, and we got along really well, had some good times. And he's like, yeah, he goes, no one else got him. I'm like, second place guy didn't catch him? He's like, no, Josh didn't catch him. He's like, I got them. Not as good as you, but I got a lead on you. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to finish second. I'm like, holy smokes. I use different words there.
Like, were you just like freaking out like, holy shit, like this happened. This is happening right now.
So I'm all checked in. Fisher, and on the last day, they do a drive-through weigh-in. So they put the boat on the trailer for you, and they drive you through the weigh-in stage.
Kind of like the Classic.
Kind of like the Classic, and you go in order.
Yeah.
So I was third to last to weigh in. So I knew if I took the lead when I weighed in, no matter what happened behind me, I was going to the Classic.
Yeah.
And I'm doing math sitting there, and there's a delay in the weigh-in because of a thunderstorm, and finally it keeps going. I'm like, all right, this guy can't have more than whatever it was, 48 pounds, and it's like 42 pounds. I'm like, holy shit. I like looked at one of the bass staffs. Her name's Emily. She's great. She's the one that does all like the check you in, like this is up next. I'm like, Emily, I'm going to the Bassmaster Classic. I'm going to the Bassmaster Classic. Like, this is unbelievable.
How old were you when this was going down?
How old was I?
Yeah.
29.
That's sick.
2 years ago.
Dude, that's insane.
But I'm an old guy.
I feel this in my stomach right now as you're telling me it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm sure you felt that too when you were like, you feel your young self that watched, you know, Davey Height and the guys on TV.
Van Damme and
Van
Hackney
Damme and like all that stuff. Like, that is so cool.
And I weighed in and I took the lead, and the MC is like, you know what that means, right? And I was like, oh, I already know.
Yeah.
That's wild. Who was the first person you called?
My dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm now in the hot seat. Second place comes up, and I can see it on his face. He doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Because fishermen are not poker players.
No.
Like, you wear it right here every single time. And then Will comes up, and I knew he had me. So, like, I was, like, super happy just for second place. Well, what I didn't know is I walked off stage, and Vice President of Bass, Chris Bose, walks up, and he goes, hey, Will's already qualified for the Elite Series. He goes, that means you get the Elite invite. You want to do it? And I'm like, holy smokes. Yes, I do, but I know it costs $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
When do I have to let you know by? He goes, 2 weeks. Alrighty.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to let you know.
I need to hear all about this because, like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity that you just like fished your way into.
Yeah.
And now it becomes a financial, like,
Holy
mortgage
smokes.
my future situation.
Let's drain the savings account.
How did you go through? What were you thinking? How did you end up piecing it together? Like, how'd that go down?
Well, I
had
was
your
like,
back?
Holy smokes. And so I go back to the hotel.
1 second. I want to back up. At this point, right? Like, you don't have any legit sponsors, right?
I have zero.
Right?
None. Me.
Okay, yeah.
I was my own sponsor.
Yeah.
I went to work.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I paid for
so, like, you're starting from scratch.
Zero.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, 2 weeks to put a business together.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 weeks to market Tim Dube, the pro angler.
So I got back to the hotel, and I was like fine the whole time. Like, we're in the bus, and I'm like, holy smokes, I got this plaque that says, Classic qualified. I get to the hotel, and I like walk over to the hotel bar. I'm like, can I get 2 drinks? There are 2 beers. He's like, yep. And I grabbed the 2 beers, and I go up to my hotel room. I'm like on the elevator, and all of a sudden, like, all this emotion starts hitting me. Like, holy smokes, you just did this.
Yeah.
And the first person I called was my dad. And I start talking to him, and all of a sudden it's like all choked up, can't talk. And me and him are just laughing, crying on the phone together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying right now. He's like, I'm crying too.
That's insane.
All right. Well, this seems like a good time to ask Dad, can I borrow $100,000?
Well, that's when I told him, I'm like, hey, I got the Elite Series invite. He goes, did you say yes? And I was like, Dad, that's a lot of money. He's like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Dads are the best.
Oh, yeah.
That's so sick.
Always in my corner.
Dads are the best.
Yeah. He's like, we will figure it out. You're not saying no to that.
That's awesome.
And that's how it started. So
Yeah.
then it took me 2 days to drive home. The second I got home, I went to my place of employment, which was a multi-billion-dollar company, and they did not want to sponsor me. And so the next day, I put in my notice.
Yeah.
I mean, like, see you guys later.
Yeah.
And I just started reaching out to every successful small business owner I knew
No shit.
and trying to piece it together as fast as I could.
Is that how you got Dresser Dental?
Yep.
Was
Dressler
that-
Family
was-
Dental.
Was that where you
Wow.
went to? Is that where you had all your dentist
yeah.
stuff
Yeah,
done?
it's
Remember-
also,
remember
it's also
little
my
Tim?
sister and my brother-in-law.
All right, well, that kinda helps.
Yeah, and they do well for themselves.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, you want to get your name out there? Or?
Yeah, I got a bunch of people all over the country that are gonna know who you guys are,
And
You
they're
in.
going to come to New Hampshire to get their dental
Yeah.
work.
Yep.
That's funny. I saw your truck and I'm like, I gotta ask him how that came to be, and there we go.
Yep, that's how it came to be. And then, so this year I was a lot more prepared than I was last year. Because just like, I had no idea about the ins and outs of the industry. I was never in the industry. I just like going fishing, and I would just show up and pay my money and
Yeah.
fish with whatever. And then Al Cappy, who is a Northeast sales rep for Rather Outdoors,
Yeah.
Lewis Strike King, he reached out to me. I was like, oh, yeah, let's do it. And so he was like
Cappy's
one of
the
the
man.
first ones. He is the man.
He's the man.
And then Bass Fish and Electronics, Steve Estes, he's the one that
Word
rigs
travels fast, especially in the local
Yeah.
circuit. So the inroad started back home and start spidering from industry people to brands that can basically say,
This was still prior to your first year?
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
probably my first year. He sends
In
me
that 2-week period?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he sent me a text. He's like, good job, bleep. I think, what did he say? He's like, good job, MFer. And he's like,
Al?
no, this is Steve.
Oh, yeah,
He
Steve.
goes,
Steve's
if you
cool.
want to play with the big boys, we need to talk.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
They're a great group, too.
I showed up to his office in a shirt and tie. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for this. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is now a business.
I'm here to F shit up.
Yeah, this is now a business proposition. I'm showing you I'm professional. He's like, go put a hoodie on. He's like, get out of here.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And so I slowly started piecing it together. And then the next year I kept a lot of the same and then added Phoenix and Yamaha. And Yamaha was a big part with On the Water.
Yeah, there's a
and-
little connection there, Cheech. I don't know if you know. With
I
Chris,
do. I'm well
which is
aware.
super cool.
Yeah.
So glad we could helped him a little bit there. And Chris loved it. 'Cause
Yeah.
He loved you immediately. I was like, Chris, you might want to meet this character from New Hampshire, and you guys got along.
Character.
Yeah, you guys got along pretty well, which was super cool.
Take care of our own. The Northeast is our
Exactly.
is our people.
But it was cool because I was, and no matter how it works out, I still have the T-shirt. I was the first one ever
Yeah,
from New Hampshire.
that's
That's
to qualify.
awesome.
Yeah, I was the
that's-
first guy ever
I
from New
figured you
Hampshire for the
were.
Elite Series.
Yeah, because I think that there was one before from Maine. I think before Tyler, right? If not, he was close.
I think so.
Connecticut, Paul Mueller.
Yeah.
There was the dude that won the Classic that one year. I forget his name.
Brian Kirchel.
Yes. I don't know if he qualified for
He's
the
from
elites.
Connecticut. Yeah, he
but-
did when he won.
Okay.
But
So
then-
there was some from Connecticut. I don't think there was one from Rhode Island. I don't think there was one from Mass. And then,
I think there was one from Mass.
Okay.
Before.
Yeah. So either way, though, that is really cool.
Yeah,
Say you're
you're
the
in a
first
small
one.
group.
Yeah, in New
That is
Hampshire.
sick.
A small group. Pretty sweet, dude.
I don't like that 2 weeks to put this together that had to have been like, oh man,
And that year, the entry fees were $45,000.
that's crazy. What time of year does this tournament go down?
It went down in the last week of October, and I had to let them know by like November 12th.
I would have been putting some real big parlays in, dude. I would have been like, all right, well, this is how this is gonna happen.
Scared FanDuel.
Scared money don't make
No,
money.
it never does, dude. Never does. That's so funny.
Wow.
That's so funny. So how was it like? Now you're on the Elite Series. What was that like? It was that transition must have been like it got real quick.
We got to do so. You fished the Bassmaster Classic before your first Elite season, right?
No,
Isn't that how
I
that
fished.
timeline works?
I fished 2 tournaments, then
Before
the
the
classic.
Classic.
I fished 2 Elites series, and then we had the Classic, and then the rest of that year. So that was
Yeah.
all in 1 year.
Well, so I was going to ask you what the Classic is. For those that don't know, the Bassmaster Classic is like it's the Super Bowl of bass fishing.
The
as they
Catalina
always say.
wine mixer.
Yeah, they have it. They have it at a different lake every year, but traditionally the weigh-ins are held in a stadium.
Yep.
They roll you in on your truck and
a
trailer and
spectacle.
boat. Yeah, and
It's
the
a
stadium's
spectacle.
full. They have Dave Mercer, the legendary announcer.
Yeah, Dave's
the
awesome.
MC of bass fishing. Like he's the man. If you haven't listened, you just got to check him out. Check out the whole thing, how they put it together. It's really cool.
It's an absolute spectacle. Like I never followed like pro bass fishing. Like if it was on, I'd watch it for a little bit and be like, all right, whatever.
That was cool.
First time I went to a classic, and like I go for the exhibition, I meet like with our partners and stuff. There's business that gets done there, and then all of a sudden, for the first weigh-in, it was like I was instantly sucked in. Next thing you know, I fly home. I'm on my couch. I'm like, nobody talk to me. I'm watching this go down. I want this person to win. I was like, instantly went from don't give a shit to this is freaking awesome. And now I'm invested through Sunday to see who wins this thing.
Your first classic was 2 years ago.
Grand Lake.
Yep.
Which was my first classic, not as an angler, but covering it. And the only reason why I was able to get to go is because we had just started On the Water Bass. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen a lot about that. It's kind of like our new magazine, bass fishing oriented, all that good stuff. I pitched to Chris, our boss. I said, hey, like, I have been a fan of the Bassmaster Classic my entire life. we have 4 or maybe it was 5 anglers from the Northeast fishing in the Bassmaster Classic, including this beast Tim Dube out of New Hampshire who just qualified. Like, he's a hometown guy. Like, can I come down with you guys and cover this, like, and do media coverage and all that? And he was like, yeah. So your first Classic was also my first Classic, and I might have been pooping my pants as much as you were just being there. You know, like,
Robbie was on tilt.
Oh man,
I can't imagine fishing that thing. But that was literally like simultaneous. We had just launched On the Water Bass, which is basically a carbon copy aimed at bass fishing of what made On the Water successful. And it was kind of like our little coming out party. And it was guys like you and the others that were fishing that tournament from the Northeast that helped kind of kickstart that. Because, like, you always want to be true to your roots. So we like looked at it from a perspective like nobody cares about, you know, this dude from Oklahoma who's winning tournaments in Texas and whatever.
Yeah.
But when it's one of your own, bring in, you know, their Northeast tactics, it plays different and through our lens, you know, from covering the Northeast bass fishing. So it was kind of real cool to have those things align. And Robbie's been kind of, you know, a key cog in that whole dynamic to bring that stuff out, and guys like you guys that kick in and contribute. So thank you for that.
No, I was happy to do it, and I feel like the Northeast, we have, you know, pretty good niche over here where it's great bass fishing that just doesn't get talked about.
Keeping your boat in tip-top shape is hard, especially when it comes to upgrade projects. But I know a place that makes it much easier. Boat Outfitters makes custom solutions designed to enhance your fishing experience on the water. They offer tackle storage systems, bait prep stations, cutting boards, rod holders, and leaning posts that keep your gear organized and accessible. Their durable King Starboard marine plastic is built to withstand the harshest conditions and will last the lifetime of your boat. For over 40 years, boat builders and boat owners have trusted Boat Outfitters for innovative, durable boat accessories and hard-to-find parts. Whether you're upgrading your boat with OEM replacement parts or customizing storage solutions for a more efficient setup, their team of knowledgeable engineers is ready to help you plan your next project. Boat Outfitters, proven parts to max out your time on the water. Check them out at boatoutfitters.com today.
Right.
So that was like that. We've had all these meetings about like why should we do this, and it's like the business side of it. It makes sense. More people freshwater fish, but it really came down to, you know, kind of twofold. This community, right? The Northeast bass fishing community. It's almost like it doesn't like register in the grand scheme of like the bass fishing world. Like they don't get the credit they deserve. The fishery doesn't get talked about or, you know, highlighted enough. And it was like, it's kind of our job to, you know, shine a light on that community that's very passionate. They're freaking real skilled anglers.
Absolutely.
And it's there, but it's just ignored by the rest of, you know.
I used to flip through Bassmaster magazine, like every issue, just to see if there was like something about Champlain or Winnipesaukee or just like something in there that even if it was just like a picture of like they would do like the trophy sections where big bass, if there was like one like in the Northeast, I would love that. Yeah. Like I would just look through everything. So now that we're putting out the On the Water Bass magazine just full of all Northeast centric stuff, it's super cool. It allows us to interview guys like you. It's like, what's your favorite lake in New Hampshire? What have you learned? Stuff like that. You know, it's really cool.
Giving the region and the community a voice in the sport that is well overdue was what kind of got us the green light to go ahead and do this thing. So it was definitely really cool.
I'm happy it happened because, like you said, put a spotlight. Where there is good fishing east of Champlain. And it just doesn't get talked about.
And you guys have been like proving that on the competitive side of things. Like there's a lot of really good anglers that get a lot of buzz, you know, from Kyle Patrick,
Alex Witherell,
Tyler, you know,
every single person,
Yeah.
Every single person on the Elite Series deserves to be there.
Exactly.
And every single person on the Elite Series could win a tournament any given week.
Yep.
What do you feel gives a Northeast guy, like, is there any difference between, you know, where you're from to how you are able to compete in something so competitive that comes down to ounces?
I mean, I where I feel like I get an advantage is when you have cleaner water, because that's all it is back home is clean water. And like even our dirtiest lake is cleaner than most of the lakes down south.
Yeah.
And cold water. We are very
trips a lot of people
experienced
up.
catching fish in that 40-degree water temperature.
That's when I have
And-
some of my best days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of times down south they don't even see that.
Yeah.
And so then when you go to like a classic on Grand and it's cold and the water's 45 or 46, it's like I felt right at home.
Half the field doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think half the field, I think all of them know what
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah,
But
they're just not comfortable
as
with it.
comfortable
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
where like
that's true.
I felt right at home.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to go throw a jerk bait. I'm going to throw a jig down this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And I just felt super comfy out there. And that's the biggest thing is like trying to feel comfortable because they will hurt your feelings on the Elite Series.
Yeah.
Like you could have a bad practice, but you're like, I need 20 pounds a day. And you're like, I'm catching 14 a day. And you're like, I need 20 pounds a day. And you go out day one, you have like the best day you've had all week. You catch 18 pounds. And you're like, heck yeah, going the way in. And you're like, oh, I'm in 59th place.
Nuts, dude.
How do I even do that tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even know how I'm going to do it tomorrow. And it's just like,
I pay
Sink or
attention
something.
to that stuff. Like I watch every tournament. I pay attention, and it blows my mind how like you can just have the day of your life and sit in 59th place.
Yeah.
It's
you
crazy.
have the best day you've had all week. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
It's crazy.
I'm not around them.
So with the classic, obviously that is like you said, you've been dreaming about it since you were a kid. Do you think fishing? It was 2 Elite Series events before the classic.
Yes.
Did those like help you, or were you still like the day one of the classic, or whatever it was? Were you still like this is nuts?
The whole week of the classic, they do nothing but hype you up.
Yeah.
And like by the time day one rolls around, like you were ready to roll. I absolutely think fishing the first 2 elites prior to that helped me.
Yeah.
Because I still remember day one of Toledo Bend, which was my first Elite Series ever, and I get boat 9.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I'm like, oh
Leading
boy,
the pack.
here we go. And Mercer's like, oh yeah, from New Hampshire, Tim Dube, and you're like,
This is real.
oh boy. And you drive out, and I was on them on Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
And I drove right over the top of them going 100 miles an hour on my trolling motor.
Yeah.
Never slow down. Because I was just too amped up.
Yeah.
And I caught 3 fish the first day.
Yeah.
And I caught like 23 pounds the second day because I slowed down. I made myself slow down.
Right.
And ended up making the top 50 my very first Elite Series. I was like, all right.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I can hang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hang. You know, and then going to the classic, and it's like Mercer walks up and interviews you on the dock before you blast off. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
And there's a hell of a lot more people at the classic.
Well, that and I have a great group of friends.
Yeah.
And about 15 of them all rented a house. They rented the pontoon boat, and
Yeah.
they are all at the blast off. Like, it's something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. Like I remember, was the first date blast off of the classic? It was raining, right?
Yeah.
Or was that? Yeah. So it was raining, and it was my first time. I got we got the full media pass.
Yeah.
So I was down there bright and early with my camera. I'm like pointing my camera at all these like guys I've grown up watching on TV. Like this is sick.
Speaking of slowing down, right?
But
Robbie takes the rental car, and dude, he must have drank 3 Celsiuses
This is
before we
great.
left the Airbnb,
This is a great story.
right? And I'm like,
for the first weigh,
I'm like, dude.
I mean, the first blast
I'm like,
off,
you know, we're joking around. Like we're both amped up, and I see somebody with a truck drive by with a pond crawler. I'm like, dude, I'm hijacking that pond crawler. I'm gonna fish the classic. See if I can hang. We were laughing about that, right? He's flying. I'm like, bro, you should probably slow down. Like, you know, you should
like,
probably
no,
slow
we-
down. And he's like, just keeps, you know, hammering it harder. And next thing you know, we make that turn to get to the weigh-in, and the blues
blast
go
off,
on
the blast off.
at the blast off, and the blues go on. I'm like, oh boy, he gets a ticket. It was so bad. I
No,
think
we
he-
didn't get a ticket. So what? No, we got. So he pulls us
Talked
over.
your way out of
yeah,
it.
he sees. No, he pulls us over. So it's like 5 a.m. whatever.
Dark.
Yeah, dark. We're
Raining.
trying to get because like me in my mind, I'm like, this is
He's
my
got his
first
camera out.
Yeah, my camera's like already out because
Yeah.
like I'm gonna hop out of the car and start filming. I'm like, I've waited my whole life to be at one of these things, like this and that. So we're driving. We get pulled over, and he comes right up to the window, and I think the first thing he said, he saw our tags. He's like, you guys are here for the Classic.
He goes, where are you from? And you go, Massachusetts. And he goes,
Where?
okay, you're here for the Classic, obviously. He's like, you need to slow down. He's like, because if I write this ticket for what I should write this ticket, you have to come back here and appear in front of a judge. And he's like, I don't think I want to do that to you. And he let him skate on it.
Yeah. It was, and then we pulled up, and I was still on time and
that's
everything.
great.
And I just couldn't believe the amount of people that showed up for that day one blast off of the Classic
Sick.
in the rain, and hearing them play the national anthem, all of that, all the boats there. I was like, this is even better than I thought it was. Like, some of my favorite photos I've ever taken in anything was from that morning of all, like, of you guys with your bass boats going across that crowd in the rain that morning. It was special. It was like, wow.
So meanwhile, Tim's getting ready to blast off, still shitting his pants because it's the Classic.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
How did the Classic unfold for you?
I had a good day one. I had 14 something, which is what I thought I could catch.
Yeah.
I was not on anything bigger. I was like, I need something magical to happen. But I had the boys in the Bennington pontoon chasing me around and
That's cool.
shotgunning beers every time I caught a big one.
Oh,
or
that's
something
so
like
awesome.
it was awesome.
Dude.
Dude, I would be like worried if if my buddies, if I'm competing in something like the Classic and they're tagging along, I'd be like, all right, they're gonna like crash into me by accident or like screw up my fishing somehow because they're idiots. Like that would be in the back of my head.
But it's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Like I needed it to be just like I needed to forget that it was the Bassmaster Classic and just go bassing.
Yeah.
Like let's just go fishing, see what happens, and that they did that for me.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool, dude.
But the weigh-in of the Bassmaster Classic, and I was told, Will told me, is like when they pull that curtain, they pull your boat forward, you don't remember anything.
You just black out.
And I was like, really? I was like, I feel like I'll remember it. The fog comes out, the curtain pulls, you pull forward. And I had to watch what I said later that night because I didn't remember
choose your music
anything.
too?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah. What song did you choose for your?
I was doing Shipping Up to Boston.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep.
I mean, the Bruins go out to it.
Yeah.
I feel like I could go
Dude,
out
that's
to
the
it. and
Northeast,
It's
dude.
a Boston.
That
you
is
know,
awesome.
I'm
That fired me up.
35 minutes from Boston. It's like, let's go.
I knew enough about the Classic that I was like, all right, there's five dudes I'm rooting for in this tournament. They're all from the Northeast, and then like you kind of mixed around like the order of those based on your interactions at media day. Like, oh, that dude was cool as shit. Like, he's in front of this, whatever. You know what I mean? Because like I didn't follow it like Robbie does. But when Shipping Up to Boston came on, I was like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
That's my dude. Let's
no,
go.
it was awesome. I remember like we were freaking out over
Yeah.
that because we were like trying to pay attention to like who was at the tanks, like up at the tanks, or like we couldn't
Yeah.
like figure it out at first. And I just remember being caught like almost off guard by that. And we're like, all right, so Tim still has to weigh in. We're still waiting for him, and then it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da. We're like, oh my god,
This is one of them. I don't know which one. Oh, it's Dube.
This is someone
Yeah.
from the Northeast.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was awesome.
I mean, that's why I picked the song.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think a ton of people know it, but a lot of people do, and especially, like, Shipping Up to Boston. Like,
Yeah.
you go to any Irish pub, and that
In
song's
bass fishing's biggest stage too. Like,
absolutely.
that is so
brought it
cool.
out there.
Yeah. That's why you're our guy, man. Well, I got to say, like, fishing the Elite Series is a heck of an experience. Everyone kind of takes something from it, I'm sure. Do you have a memory or a moment or, like, something that, like, you'll never forget? Like your favorite memory from the tour that just,
I mean,
you'll never forget from that? Something you'll tell your kids when you're older, if you have them.
I have a ton of memories, ton of great memories, but, like, the very first one, so I knew no one on the Elite Series except for Will Davis. And I called him. I'm like, hey, can we room together? And he's like, well, I room with Mark Menendez.
Yeah.
I was like, can you call him and see if I can stay with you guys? And in my brain, I'm like, Mark Menendez.
And Mark's a veteran. He's a tour veteran.
He's been doing it for forever. And,
Yeah.
like, I've been
So
growing
you're basically
up.
asking to be let in the inner circle because a lot of the stuff that goes on is like you guys are bouncing things off each other, game planning together
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
Yep. And, like, he's like, yeah, I called Mark. You're all set. he said, come on with it, because he's from Kentucky and Will's from Alabama, and then they called me their Yankee.
Yeah, the Yankee.
I've never been called a Yankee more in my life than when I fished the last 2 years down south.
That's funny.
Save your Confederate dollars.
Yeah.
So there's that element of it. What's it like, grinding out on the elite? Like how does the day-to-day stuff go in between tournaments? Is it just like, is it like a fraternity? Is it super fun? Is it like people pranking on people? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Is it just, what's it like?
So with Mark, I roll up, I meet Mark, and we're staying at a friend of his house at Toledo Bend. I like, holy smokes, this is Mark. I'm like, hi, Mark. I'm Tim.
Hi, Mr. Menendez.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Menendez. Very nice to meet you. I've been watching
Did you
you
have
my
your suit and tie
entire
on?
life. No, I didn't. And this guy in the golf cart drives by us, and we're all out in our boats, kind of like rigging. And I was like the furthest one out. So the guy drives right up next to me, and he's like, oh, are you guys professional fishermen? I'm like, yeah, we are. And Mark in the background, you're not a pro yet. You haven't made a cast. I'm like, I just met this guy 10 minutes ago.
He's already
We're
busting
getting
my-
along.
Yeah.
We're going to get along. And I still remember that like so perfectly. He's like, you're not a pro yet.
That's so funny.
fun. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
But there's a lot of shenanigans that go on.
What's the best prank you've seen pulled off on somebody?
I saw someone take a fake snake, tie a line to it, and tie it to the live well lid. So when you open up the live well lid, the snake jumped up. That was probably the best one I've seen because the guy almost fell in the water.
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been. That's great. Spiders would have got me more than. Actually, you know what? Anything like surprise like that, I'd be like, oh shit.
Well, the one thing that like down south that I cannot stand is the amount of bugs.
Yeah.
Like snakes, spiders,
Right.
Spiders.
murder hornets.
Yeah.
Like
Spiders freak me out.
any Texas lake, they have these big giant red wasps, and like I can't deal
Have
with
you been
them.
stung by one yet?
I've never been stung in my life, but I got a big, huge electric fly swatter things, like the tennis racket looking things, because when they fly at you, they're this big.
Yeah.
And you can hear them coming. And you're like, oh boy, here we go. Where is he? Whack.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
That's another thing you have to dodge when you're fishing too.
Well, when
So
you're fishing and you're around standing timber, you're like looking in every tree to make sure that there's not a nest in it.
Yeah.
Because if you bump the tree with a nest, they all swarm you.
That is crazy.
And then you go right in the drink.
People jump in.
Yeah. Get eaten by an alligator.
Yeah. I'll take an alligator
All
over
while
the
trying
bees.
to catch a 3-pounder.
Yeah.
My brother stepped on one of the ones that, like, the yellow jackets build in the ground. We were fishing in a little shitty pond, and all of a sudden we see him freaking out, and he jumps right in the water. And as soon as he came up, he started screaming, "Snapping turtles!" He was scared of snapping turtles because they were so big that he thought he was like. He evaded the bees, the yellow jackets, but now a snapping turtle was going to take his leg. It was pretty funny. I was like 12 years old.
See, I don't mind alligators because they're like, what's
kinda
up?
dumb.
They're
Yeah,
like,
they're-
what's up? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to hang out. Most of the time they run from you.
Have you ever hooked one?
Yes. I've hooked 2.
Have you ever had one take your fish?
No, never taken a fish. I hooked one this past year in Okeechobee when it was freezing cold out, and he never moved.
Yeah. He probably didn't even know he was hooked.
No. I hit him with a Senko. And I'm like,
Cinco sketch everything.
I'm
bro.
reeling him in. And I'm like, what do I have? Like, do I have a weed? And like, I'm trying to like get it off, and I start like pulling. I'm like, oh, here it comes. I'm like, it's probably a branch or something. And I see a leg come up. I'm like, whoa. Oh, absolutely not.
Dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's crazy.
Because the ones on Okeechobee are mammoths.
Yeah.
What are some of the weirdest, other than an alligator on a Senko, what's some of the weirdest bycatch you've caught in a bass tournament?
I caught a king salmon on a minnow. That was a cool one.
How pissed are you in a tournament when that happens? Or are you kind of like, shit, that's kind of cool?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like muskies though. Like
No.
I caught a muskie on St. Clair, and I was like, how am I gonna get my bait back?
How big was it?
Long as the table.
Yeah, like a 30, 40 incher.
No, it was way bigger than
Oh,
that.
What did
God.
it eat?
Yeah, crankbait.
They're the easiest fish to catch when you're not fishing for them.
Yes. And there was a guy trolling for him, like, next to me, and he's like, really? Yeah. I'm like, I don't want it.
They really are. I saw a smallie. I was with him, actually. We were up on Niagara. I saw a smallie on the bank in the morning before our fishing trip happened. I always would,
Cheech ran down
fish
there.
for an hour and a half or something, like at
Before the
sun up,
trip.
right at it's such a fishy river. You never
Yeah.
know what you're going to hook there. And I'm like, oh, this is a nice smallie. I'll catch that. I'll tie this jig on real quick. And I remember being like, oh, shit, I don't have the trailers I usually like. I'm like, screw it. Pitch it out, nothing. Pitch it out a little further. Pitch it out even further. And then all of a sudden, I thought I got hung up. And I felt the head shake. And, dude, like 10-pound test, here's this, like, 50-inch class muskie that looked like a telephone pole for girth. And I was just like, I just remember being like, all right, I'm probably not going to land this thing, but I need to at least get it on film so that people believe when I say it was a 50-inch class muskie that it actually was. And then after 2 minutes, so I ended up losing it on like the third run, and holding a phone between the reel handle between two knuckles with the phone. I'm like, I had that hooked in the right spot to have it for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I probably could have landed
You
it.
would have been able to land it.
I know.
Because
It's
it's
just-
usually either instant.
Snapped the
Yeah.
jig.
Snap.
No, it ate the jig, but
Yeah.
like it broke off on like a salacious, like insane run.
Yeah.
And what happened, I played it back in my mind a million times because that's what fishermen do. I didn't have the torque and the speed because I'm holding my phone to like stay on the fish.
Yeah.
So when I had it coming towards me and it turned to go on that run, the line went from one corner to the other corner, and then the run just ended it. But muskies
fun.
are easy to catch when you're not fishing.
When you're
for
not
them.
fishing for them, you can catch them.
Yeah. Anything else crazy? You ever like snag a paddlefish or anything wild down in some of those southern states?
I mean, hook the seagull on the top water, which
That's always terrible.
that's
Yeah, we do that.
we
too.
do that up here a lot. Not
That-
a lot, but
It happens tuna fishing a lot. And it's
Yes.
gotten me to the point where like I'm at that stage now where I have a 7 and a 9-year-old kid that always wants to go and bait fish at the local pier, and late in the season it's kind of cool because you never know what you're going to catch. You catch blowfish, or you could catch
Yeah.
some southern species that shouldn't be up here. And I'm like, all right, we'll do that. Without fail, some other child or someone's wife hooks a seagull, and I'm always like, I got you. I'll help you out.
Yeah.
No problem. You just
Well-versed in
get
this.
the rag over its eyes, and they'll claw the shit out of you. It's pretty brutal.
yeah. Craziest fish. I mean, I hooked an alligator gar,
That is a cool species.
and it jumped out of the water, and I did not know what to do with it. I
They
was like,
get pretty big.
It was massive.
How like
like
how? Yeah. Oh yeah, a real one.
like 8.5 feet long.
That's insane.
I've never seen anything like it, and then it snapped, and I was like, thank God.
Did any part of you want to be like, all right, I want to like fish off hours and catch one just to catch one, or is it just like
Not those.
No?
No. I caught a 28-pound catfish on a jig.
when you set the hook on that thing, you think it's the one?
Well, it went.
Until
It went tink and just started swimming. I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy, here we go. And I hit it, and I was like, what is this?
That's not what I'm after.
Yeah, big.
It does take a little bit of time to register, so it gets your hopes up. Then you're
Yeah.
like, God damn it.
Yeah. And you're like, I haven't moved it in 4 minutes. This is not a bass.
Do you just accept that and break it off and move on, or do you always have to see?
Oh, I always have to see. Because I like catching. We talked about, I love catching fish.
Yeah.
And like, I will play them out to try and try and get it. And I fought it for so long, finally caught it. And I was like, oh, I need to weigh this thing. Like, heck yeah, let's go.
That's awesome.
Besides catching fish, the top priorities on a summer fishing trip are staying comfortable and staying protected from the sun. The AFTCO Aeromesh collection has you covered on 2 of those fronts with the super breathable, super lightweight proprietary fabric that allows a full range of motion while providing up to UPF 50 sun protection. These shirts are available in short sleeve and long sleeve button downs, as well as short sleeve, long sleeve, and hooded performance shirt styles. The Aeromesh hooded fishing shirt is perfect for summertime fluke and tuna trips, where the stain resistant material ensures that you can still wear it on family beach days without wearing the evidence of your last offshore harvest. To see the Aeromesh collection, visit aftco.com today.
This next question is a polarizing topic in the bass fishing world.
Okay.
Oh, I
sorry
know
for
where you're
asking.
going.
But
Here comes the live scope.
yep, take the sip of that. So everyone by now, like fresh or saltwater fishing, kind of knows what live scope is. A lot of people on the salt side of things, they know what it is, and they kind of immediately like fault it to cheating. You know, whatever it is. Everyone's got their different opinion. Either way, Bassmaster put out some new rules this year, or for next year, or for whatever. I'm not sure if it applies to the opens or whatnot, but basically they're making 50-50. Half the tournaments are no live scope allowed, half the tournaments are live scope allowed. What are your thoughts?
I hate it.
You hate it?
I hate it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not gonna say anything bad about Bassmaster because they're running a business as well, but we're all
Absolutely.
running our own business.
Yeah.
I love technology.
Yep.
I've fished with live scope the last 5 years or so when it came out, and it's a tool. And there's nothing more frustrating than when they don't bite with live scope.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't make them bite, but it gives you more of an advantage.
Right.
And it's gonna be really tricky fishing without it.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up fishing without it. Like, I know how to fish without it, but you're gonna have to remember some stuff, like, you know, like, I can't see the grass line just by panning over. Like, I'm gonna have to mark waypoints for the grass line or
Yeah.
a boulder or something like that, and triangle my cast again, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think the same people that are dominating right now will continue to dominate.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to change anything like that.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest things with fishing and in any fishing, I always say time on the water.
Yep.
Time on the water is the most important thing, because the
Absolutely.
more you see, the more you can understand, and the faster you can process what you see. And I pre-practice every single tournament. I go for a week ahead of time, the 28 days prior, and I'll spend a week out there. And if for nothing else, just to learn how to drive around so I don't tear anything up.
Yeah.
Tear
It's a
anything
big
up.
part of it.
Yeah. And just knowing, like, oh, there's a boat ramp here. There's a rock pile that you can't get over right there. And, like, when you're not in a rush, it's a lot easier to take the time to find it. And a lot of the guys are doing very well. You see every single week. You see them pre-practicing a month prior.
Yeah.
Like, you see them putting the time in on the water.
Absolutely.
And that translates to success. So I don't see that changing just because you take away live scope.
Yeah.
Do you see it becoming harder for some of some people in the sport have gotten instant success because they're really good with technology and they're super young and, like, you know, teenagers and, like, barely 20-year-olds are, like, coming in and just like, yep, I got this. Do you think that gives those guys a disadvantage?
Yes and no. They're gonna have to, like, for say the older crowd, we grew up without it. We learned
You
seasonal.
still know how to go old school. I don't think they know how to go old school.
We
That's kind of where I'm
we
going.
learned seasonal patterns, and pretty much when live scope came out, we learned that all the seasonal patterns we thought we knew were wrong.
Yeah.
Like, fish live in the middle year round. Like, they will just swim over open water, being super pelagic, just cruising. Now, I don't know without live scope if you could even target those fish. So it's going to be different for those people that have done nothing but live scope. They don't know seasonal patterns, but if they're on the Elite Series, they can fish any body of water.
Absolutely.
They are the best of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 24. I didn't start fishing with live scope till literally last year. So
Yeah.
like, if there's other, you know, people like me who have spent, like, their youth and, like, the majority of their learning time fishing without it, like, that's still going to be in you.
Yeah.
To be a bass fisherman, you got to understand, like, the basic things and all that. So I think, like, there's still, like, a lot of those kids will still have success. I think it's going to be interesting for the sport. I think it's going to even out a lot of, like, the disinterest that people were having. You know, guys will still be able to do it. The thing that I see a lot is, like, a lot of people complaining that with live scope when they're watching as a viewer, like, oh, I'm just watching someone with their head down all day fishing. And my thing is, like, well, either way, their head's going to be down fishing. You know, like, they're looking at the water in front of them and
not
all
gonna
that.
change much.
Yeah, it's not going to change much there.
They're going to cast 1,000 times going down the bank, or they're going to make 4 casts at 4 fish.
Yeah.
And it'll be the same.
Exactly.
But My favorite thing is when Bassmaster, they use the HDMI and they plug it into the back of your Garmin.
I love that.
Yeah.
When you can see someone's screen and how they're presenting a bait, you can learn so much so quickly.
Yep.
That was one of my favorite things they did.
Yes.
Like with the live scope, is having their scope screen in the corner, you know, and Davey Height and Zona, they would do a great
explain it
job
so
explaining
well.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
And one of my
this
favorites
is the fish,
was
this is the bait.
Yeah, from the St. Lawrence River with the whole, you know, Rob G. And like they were like watching. They did a great job breaking down and showing like all the smallmouth piled up on the bottom and Rob presenting his bait, and it's like you're literally watching him like, okay, he's fishing it this one way on this cast and he makes another cast and all of a sudden he does it differently and 2 or 3 come off the bottom and are looking at it and you're like, okay, and you're kind of seeing, and they involve you so much more, and like I really enjoyed that. My dad hates live scope. Like when I first put it on my boat and I took him out to show him it for the first time, he was like, get this crap off your boat. He loves bass fishing too. Like he's never.
But why does he hate it?
He hates it because he thinks it's, you know, cheating. He's like you shouldn't be able to do that. I'm like, well, then over time now he loves watching me use it. Now he's like, he loves being me like Dad, look at this grass line right here. I think there's gonna be one in there. And something I tell Cheech a lot is like,
You can't always see them.
90% of the time, I'm not seeing fish with it. I'm fishing structure with it. Like I'm making sure my jig's in the zone. Like, and I'm still making educated guesses. Like, you know, this side of the lake had wind yesterday. I really like these grass lines over here. And I'm just watching my jig go in front of the grass line and I'm making a guess. And all of a sudden I will see a fish come out of the grass to eat the jig or whatever it is. And like, that's a big thing for me is like seeing what's down there. Like it, if anything, helps you learn more about bass fishing.
Absolutely.
But it's funny seeing someone like my dad, who's super old school. He got into largemouth fishing because of me. He's always been saltwater fishing, and like he's sat in a couple tournaments with me, and he loves it now. Seeing him, his initial reaction is like, "This is bogus." To now where he's like,
around.
now it's like I set up my screen in the back to mirror my front live scope so he can sit
so
there
you can
and
see
watch
everything.
it, you know. And he loves it. He's like, he thinks it's really cool now. So. You know, I think it's like it takes a little bit of an understanding for people to kind of really figure out what it actually is and all that, because I think a lot of initial reactions like, you know, that's bogus. It's
I
cheating,
hate it
whatever.
and I love it at the same time.
I also hate it and love it.
Because like, there's nothing more frustrating when you see a tank that it won't eat, or it gets you so excited because it's coming up and then it noses right up to the bait and swims away, and it's like, all right, what do I have to do different to get that bite? And but when it all comes together, it's a beautiful thing.
And my thought process with it is like when you find that group of fish that don't eat, and in your head you're like, if I didn't know they were here, I would have already been on spot.
Yeah.
3, 4, and 5, but
Yeah.
now I'm still on spot number 2 trying to catch these fish, and it's like if I left them right away, would I have had a better day?
Yeah.
Like
a lot
I
that
always
goes into
I always go back and forth with it. Like I fished for an hour for these fish that don't eat, but I
Yeah.
know they're big. And if I didn't know they were here and I just fished through and didn't get a bite, I would have already been through more progression of my spots.
So one of my favorite stories, and Cheech is gonna love this one. Last year, the Swimbait fish you caught.
Oh, we got to do that again.
So last year it
was around this
It was
time.
actually around this time. I've been hunting a 5-pound smallmouth on the Cape my entire life. Like that's a big fish
Yeah, it's
in
a giant.
Massachusetts and especially on Cape Cod. Like we get a lot of 4s, but the 5s are hard to find. I've been putting a lot of time into this one body of water that I know they're in there. It's tough to catch them. Last year I went out after work. I just had a feeling. I'm like, I think tonight's gonna be a big fish night. I went out. Long story short, actually, I fell in the water that day trying to grab what would have been my biggest largemouth too. So I ended up catching my biggest smallmouth of my life in Massachusetts. It was a 5.2 on the scale, and that same night I also almost caught my biggest largemouth. It came up next to the boat, and like I was going to grab him like under the belly, and the jig popped out of its mouth, and he was kind of like sitting there on the surface for a sec before he kicked away. So I leaned over to go grab him and reach for him, and I started falling in the water.
I would've went for it, too.
Yeah. So, but in the split second of my mind, I'm like, crap, my phone and my keys are in my right side bib pocket. I'm either going in with this fish and risking my phone and keys because I got my hand on his head for a second.
You can get phone and keys replaced.
Yeah, or I like let it go and save myself. So what happened was I grabbed them and I kind of like thought that in my head and I kind of like tried to save myself, and that's when I lost grip of the fish. I get back up on the deck. I'm soaked. It's all on GoPro. I'll have to show you the video.
Hilarious.
I'm soaked. My whole right side, my hat went in the water. My rod went into the water too. I look up, I get on the deck, I'm like, and I look and my phone and keys are on the deck. I'm like, no way. And then I look in the water, I see my bait caster going down. I'm like, oh, and I reach down and grab that. And it's like, my girlfriend's on the phone with me. She's like, what just happened? I'm just like,
Yard sale.
Yard sale.
yeah, yard sale.
Yeah.
And then 20 minutes later, I went up to another point and caught my biggest smallmouth. But the story goes is there was this one mooring. And earlier in that day, saw one on live scope. It was a giant. I'm like, it's sitting down there. I couldn't get it to bite anything. I threw a bunch of my favorite stuff at it. Couldn't get it to bite, whatever. I called Cheech. I'm like, hey, I just caught lost one, but caught one of my biggest bass in my life. Let's go night fishing. Cheech is a big night fishing swim bait guy. He loves it. He's kept me out till sunrise some nights, and then had to go into the office.
I get prescribed Adderall, so I can always work the next day.
He is crazy with it. So I called Cheech, and he didn't even hesitate. He's like, "Yep, I'm coming. I'll meet you here." So we stayed on the same body of water. We night fished a little. We were checking around. We weren't really getting bites. I'm like, oh, this is kind of disappointing. I had high hopes for this.
Yeah, it sucked.
So I was like, you know what? I
broke a rod.
Yeah, he broke a rod. Everything was going bad. You know,
I hate night
and
fishing.
I'm like, you know what? I was like, Cheech,
I love
it. When it happens, it's cool, and it actually did happen. So, and this is where live scope ties into it and everything. I was like, you know what? I saw this one.
Hold on,
giant.
I want to jump in here. He was
Okay.
like, "All right, time to go." I just blew up a rod on the cast, and he's like, "All right, let's go." And I remembered when. Like, I haven't fished this place a ton. I remember him being like, I marked an absolute giant on that side. Like, and I just like mentally, stuck that in the back of my brain. And he's like making it. I go, you go on the ramp? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what about that giant you marked off that mooring block? Can we go at least
take a peek?
Can we go have a look real quick? He's like, I don't know. It's 1:30, And I'm like, just come on, let's just go real quick and go hit it. And then he's like, all right, fine.
Yeah. I pulled up. I put my trolling motor in, pointed at the mooring. Sure enough, there it was. It was about like 5 feet off the bottom, right on the mooring ball.
Right on top of a grass line, too.
Yeah, but it was in about 17, 18 feet of water. It was a deep mooring, and the fish was sitting there. I'm like, I don't even know if this is a giant brown trout or if it's a smallmouth. I was like, but I'm pretty sure it's a huge smallmouth because it just looked like it.
Yeah.
So Cheech goes over. Whatever swim bait you had on,
he ran a rat over it.
He ran a rat over it. Like we were far enough away where it was like a 60-foot cast. Reeling it over it.
Came up, looked, swam back
No,
down.
I don't think it really moved much.
No, it like reacted to it, but instantly,
peaked it.
Yeah.
So then Cheech goes.
I go, give me 30 seconds, and Robbie has the ADD to drive right up to the fish. I'm like, keep it on the graph, but don't get close.
Yeah.
Give me 30 seconds. I know it'll eat. And I went and tied my kryptonite on, my big bass kryptonite, and I threw a Pats at it. And
It
as
was-
soon
what
I
Pats
cranked it
was it
down,
then?
it was a big perch, Fats. I cranked it down.
Hold on. This was one of those swim baits where it's so old and it's been used in fish where it's just got that weird rattling old lure sound to it.
Yeah.
That it's just like, so he casts
Squeaks and creaks.
He casts it over it, makes the same cast again, cranks it down a little, and as soon as that thing, because you can see a top water.
He goes,
bait.
let that thing sink. I go, Robbie, it floats.
Yeah. So he fishes it over, and that bait, that first cast, that smallmouth, did a little peak, but then it just started coming up. It started swimming straight to the surface. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, keep it reeling.
Holding your breath
Yeah,
as you're reeling
so
it.
it's coming up. I take my eyes off it, and as soon as I take my eyes off and try to look into the darkness to where his bait is, it just goes whoosh, like toilet bowl flush. Huge
sick.
eat on that big swim bait. It was a giant
I heard
smallmouth
it before
thing.
I felt it.
Yeah, thing jumped twice. We got it in the
was
boat.
badass.
It was I forget what it
The
was.
whole time I'm like,
4 8.
please be brown, because I knew if it was a largemouth, I'm like, this isn't going to be anything like all that noteworthy.
Yeah.
But if it's a smallie, it's gonna be a real one.
So that was
different.
cool to see that combine an old school night fishing swim bait technique and his instincts with what I was seeing on the graph and have that come together like that was super cool. I thought that was awesome. A little bit of a drawn out story for
you
that.
don't like
but it was-
night fishing?
I hate night fishing.
Really?
I need to see what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Unless we're going night fishing, stripers, eels.
All right.
I'm about that.
That's
but
pretty cool.
Not
too.
seeing what you're looking at sucks, but learning a place so that you can fish it in the dark I think that's what separates a lot of people that do well with the night swim bait thing is that. Like, I learn more during the day, and I come back to it at night being like, all right, cool. If I make this cast, but everything's messed up.
Yeah.
You have no depth perception.
You have no idea.
The worst thing is when you take something that's worth like $400 or $500 on the black swim-bait market and you send it halfway up a pine tree. It's like, God damn it! Please tell me I didn't break the lip off this thing.
No idea where that just went.
But I love that. I love that night bite.
It's cool though, because like
Sick.
you really like you kind of have to have that sixth sense night fishing. Like Cheech knows the bite window thing. Like
That's what I was going to ask you on those piles of fish that just won't eat. You think it's a bite window thing where it's like
Absolutely.
it's such a real thing in all fishing, but especially
like,
freshwater.
During the day, if I know there's a pile of fish somewhere and I can't get on the bite, I'll hit them
Several times throughout the day.
4 or 5 different times during the day, and I'll make the longest cast possible. And I'll either go with something very micro small, or I'll go with something
Obnoxiously
huge.
large.
Yep, something massive.
Yeah.
And I'll go both ends of the spectrum, and it's just like first time I'm usually throwing the biggest thing in there because I want to get the biggest fish to react. So I'll throw a 6 or 7 inch, soft plastic minnow, or something if it's smallmouth minnow.
Yeah.
I'll throw that first, and then I'll go all the way down to a 2-inch tumbleweed dice.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the dice baits?
I hate them and love them.
Yeah. They're interesting.
I
man.
hate
First time I saw him, I was like, "What is happening in bass
I
fishing?"
hate what bass fishing has become. I hate it.
I'm not gonna lie though.
Makes sense though.
I feel like it
eat it.
trickles their autism.
Yeah.
Like I'm not kidding.
it
Like the
touches
little
it,
tentacles just kind of sitting there like that. It's like, why would I not want to eat that? Yeah, it's like,
since when did they start eating spiders?
yeah, I don't. It's just like a critter of some sort. I don't know.
They don't
But
know
it's,
what it is,
It's
and
like
they're like, I'm gonna
it's
eat it.
not natural, but it is natural at the same time.
I think the best explanation I've heard is probably from the smartest person that works at this company. Kevin Blinkoff said, "Dude, I think it's something that is just like programmed into their innate brains from when they were like, microscopic little bass that like ate little things that wiggled around, like all the different organisms in lakes and stuff that they grow on. It's just like, oh, I remember that. It's just a bigger one. I'm gonna eat it."
Yeah.
I was like,
Very
that actually kind of
interesting.
makes sense.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But they definitely catch bass.
Yeah. I caught my first one on it not too long ago. I had like this JDM one gifted to me a little while ago by my friend John Brolin, and I fished it. I was drop shotting in a lake around here, and I caught like a 3-pound smallmouth on it on the first drop. The thing like came up, looked at it, ate it. And I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid.
And I fished
So
it weightless
stupid.
too. I actually didn't fish it on drop shot. I fished it weightless. I was in like 15 feet.
You put like a nail weight in it, or just
No,
like
I,
straight weightless?
I fished it and it like slowly went down. It's like a glass calm morning. And I think that's why I got that fish to eat, because it just sank down so slowly and like finally got to it, and the thing just kind of ate it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I guess it's kind of
hate
because I
bass
had been
fishing.
told
Stupid.
that like people fish it weightless like that.
A lot of people put they'll put a nail weight into
Yeah.
it, like a 30-second
Yeah.
ounce nail weight.
I mean,
in,
I was
just to
like-
give it just the slightest fall.
Yeah.
The thing that blows my mind is how like technical bass fishing is, especially the tournament guys. It's like the littlest tiny little changes or tweaks makes a world of difference, and that always is like kind of overwhelming to think about, especially when you're
And-
getting your ass kicked in a tournament and you're blanking.
And sometimes it's like maybe I'm like, oh, I need to downsize my line, when in reality I need to upsize my line
There's so
to
many.
give it a better jump or a better action.
Boatmart is the online marketplace built to help you find your next boat. From the last fall striper blitz to next spring's first cast, Boatmart is here to get you on the water. With thousands of listings from fishing boats to pontoons, cruisers to sailboats, Boatmart has something for everyone. Listings from fishing boats to pontoons, cruisers to sailboats, Boatmart has something for every boater and every adventure. As the official marketplace partner of On the Water, we make it simple to find your next boat. Visit boatmart.com today to search for your next boat, or check them out in the classifieds tab on onthewater.com to find your next fishing boat. Do you have a preference between largemouth and smallies?
So I like catching largemouth better than I like catching smallmouth. But anytime there's a tournament on like a smallmouth fishery, I feel like I do better. But I would much rather like throw a frog into a mat or flip a mat or throw a chatterbait or throw a jig or something like that. But for whatever reason, I feel like I do better in tournaments when it's smallmouth driven.
I used to always say I loved smallmouth. That was my immediate answer, but now I cannot decide between the two. Because like I love a largemouth eating out of grass.
Yeah.
Like that is, especially on a jig or a Texas rig, like that is so hard to beat.
And you see the bucket come out, their
Oh,
bucket
yeah.
mouth just come out and shake, and you're like, when they can't get out of the water, you know, they're
Especially
big
a
ones.
healthy green
Yeah.
largemouth.
So I love
What about you?
smallies because they're just like freak athletes, and they're. I think it's because I've caught way more largemouth than smallies. I got into bass fishing like I am now, kind of later in life. Was we had no fresh water where I grew up, so like,
Yeah.
you know, I was all salt, and then next thing you know, it was like, oh, these things air out. It's sick to be able to hook a big smallie on a jig, and next thing you know, because I fish from the bank a lot, just messing around like before, just to get some fishing in.
Absolutely.
And next thing you know, you're looking up in the air. at a
Lunch break
smallie,
Bassmaster.
You know, so it's sick. But I'm starting to come around because, like, you know, they dig. Like when you hook a real good one on a jig, it's awesome.
So my
and
thing
the
is
bucket
like-
mouth.
My thing is like my
You
favorite.
don't know what the rest of this fish is.
big head.
But
Yeah.
you know it's big.
My favorite is when I like the smallmouth the most when you catch big smallmouth when you're not in a primary smallmouth lake. That's when I really like smallmouth. Like when you're in a mixed bag lake or even largemouth leaning, when you find a nice smallmouth, like that is my favorite thing in bass fishing, I think. But I think largemouth like in the grass is just it's so fun.
What's your biggest largemouth?
10 pounds, 4 ounces.
Where'd you catch it?
Lake Fork, Texas.
What's your biggest northeast largemouth?
820.
That's a big fish.
Out of Winnipesaukee.
Out of Winnipesaukee?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that primarily like known for like being hard to catch a big fish in?
Yes.
What'd you
But
catch it on?
there are big ones.
I've
Yeah,
heard
it
that
has to
like
be
the
giants
deep
in
water largemouth fishing can be good for size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like people don't talk about it.
Yeah, people
Did you
They
catch it?
all don't live on the bank.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it fishing for smallies?
No, I sight fished it. It was in the spring. I saw it swimming down a sand flat.
Sick.
And I was like, oh, there's a 4-pounder. And I whipped the jig way in front of it. Well, it was like a Ned rig jig. It was
Yeah.
a little finesse jig. And it started swimming by. Right as it swam by, I just gave it a little pop. And it like,
Thump.
one motion, like head down, kept swimming. And I was like, man, he didn't eat that? And I was like, oh, he did. And I hit him with a hook set. And it jumps. I'm like, all right, that's not a 4-pounder. I thought it was a 4. And then I reached down and lipped it, and I'm like, how long is this fish?
Just kept coming.
out of the
Yeah,
water.
it just kept coming the
Dude.
whole time.
That's so. Did you get to see that initial reaction because that's my favorite thing with largemouth. The initial reaction when you set the hook, they just like shake their head underwater.
shake their
It's
head,
like,
and then he
oh
he
my
did the
God.
roll upside down.
yeah.
When they show the white belt, he was like, oh no, that's not good.
That's kind of part of the reason why I do love night fishing, because like a lot of time, I mean, when you're throwing big swim baits, it's stupid what you're catching them on, which kind of
Yeah.
sucks. You know, I wish it could just transform to like an ultralight once you got the hook set. But like, it's like, how big is this going to be? You always feel like it's going to be the biggest bass you've put hands on. So I think that excitement kind of keeps me coming back. But the real big ones are just, they're special. They're built different.
They are built different.
So, did you were you in a tournament, or were you just
Nope,
fun fishing?
Just fun fishing. And I was like, wow, I weighed it, and I was like, damn.
That's
And
sick.
I was like, took a picture of it, and I was like, all right, see you later.
So how did that compare to your first bluefin tuna?
There's nothing like bluefin tuna.
Yeah.
The very first tuna I ever caught, it was a football. It was only probably, I don't know, 45 inches. And I thought I hooked a whale.
Yeah.
And then it came up, and I'm like, that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
then,
little thing pulled like this.
and it was the next day. He's like, yeah, we're going giant fishing tomorrow. We're just doing wreck fish right now. Do you want to go? And I'm like, sure, I'll go. Yeah, I have nothing going on. Why
Yeah.
not? And we go giant fishing. We pull up on the hump out off of Jeffrey's Ledge.
Yeah.
And like, it was we put one rod, we made bait. We had herring, we had mackerel, we had a couple whiting.
You're the full buffet.
We had everything. we didn't have any squid, and they were talking about squid, and I was like, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
you
Squid's
know?
my confidence bait for
I
giants.
love squid
Yeah,
too.
I do.
It's like a jelly donut.
I can't. I'm like,
can't
I'm like, if
resist.
one sees it, it's eating it. I know that much.
Every single
Yeah, I
time.
know.
It's a jelly donut.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, look at that.
That's
I'll eat it.
crazy.
We had the first rod out. We set the anchor. We're set up. First rod goes out, like drifts back a little bit. Second rod's going out. And we watched one come up off the bottom, turn down. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to see that a bunch today. And I look over at the trash bag and watch the trash bag just rip. I was like, are we on? I'm not sure. And then the rod just folds, and it sounds like the reel just got hooked up to a Volkswagen driving down the road.
That's crazy.
That is sick.
How long of a fight was it? Keep going.
So we fight them. I fish with Captain Randy Drago. He
Yeah.
does the Codfather charters
Yeah.
at Newburyport, and we put the heat to them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pop them or stop them.
We put them at 50 pounds of drag to the button,
Yeah.
and the way we have our crimp set, it doesn't break till like 90 or 100.
Yeah.
So I think we killed that one in, I don't know, 20 minutes. And I still remember the first time we saw it, like I was on the rod cranking. He's yelling at me to reel because it was my first one. And obviously, you have no idea
How
Yeah.
big they are.
You have no technique to it.
Yeah.
Like I was just like rolling on the fly, like, oh, you pull down, reel, like whatever.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
cool. And then he rolled up and harpooned it. And I was like, that might have been the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's
Yeah.
pretty badass.
Yeah.
Well, giant fishing is the most boring thing in the world until
Until
it
it's not.
happens.
Until it's
Yeah.
the best thing in the world.
Yes.
Dude, it's like this past weekend, I spent like a combined 38 hours on the water of trying to get one of these things to bite, and we didn't get one.
Yeah.
You know?
It's-
And then my buddy went out 2 days later when I had to be at work, and he gets one in an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's crazy.
You never know.
Yeah.
It floors you every time you see the sheer magnitude and size of those
Oh, when you
creatures.
first see them,
It's like,
and they're on their side, and like they come up and they're like 10 feet down. You're like, oh my gosh.
what's the biggest one you've seen in person caught?
We caught a 118 incher last year.
Oh, shit, that's a big dog.
We had to go up to another, so we fish on a center console.
Yeah.
We had to go up to a down east style with a crane.
Can you
Yeah.
help us?
I'm like, hey, buddy.
We caught one too big.
There was no way we could get
Yeah.
in the boat.
I've seen people sink
It's
boats.
funny. Like my first giant, it was, God, Nick's going to kill me. I think it was like 110 incher.
That's a big fish, too.
It was a big fish. That was my first giant. I fought the whole thing too. Nick was on the boat, just the two of us. Put all the pressure on me. I'm like, okay. But we got the fish next to the boat. We couldn't fit in the door. And we're in a 25-foot sea hunt game fish with my friend Nick Perfettio. We had to call in our buddy Jack Hermatis, who's on a 36 Invincible, I think it is, with triples. We tied the rope from the front of its face over through the tuna door, across the back of our boat to the back of Jack's triple 300s. And me and Nick held the rope and guided it. He put the throttle in gear and drove forward on his boat and we successfully pulled the fish with the rope into our boat by pulling it with his boat across the back of it.
Yeah.
Like we were running Nick's Yamahas on the line, because if that rope goes sideways by some reason, that's like a 800-pound fish or whatever it was. That tension, and then Jack's boat, like that rope could have destroyed a
Yeah.
lot of things on the boat doing that.
Giant
That was a
fishing is
gamble,
nuts.
and it was nuts. I have a video of it. It was really cool. I was like, I don't know how we thought of that. But
Have you ever done one stand-up?
No, never. Just the very first one, the football, was on
'cause-
spinning gear
yeah,
stand
it was
up.
on the rec size stuff. So I just learned that I think next week we're going to be filming an episode where my fat, out of shape ass is going to be tied to probably the biggest one that Robbie Taylor can get hooked up for a stand-up giant battle. So I'll definitely have a knife real with it, like glued to my my chest, because when things go wrong doing that can't be pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I've never fully caught one. We hooked one on stand up one time, and we watched it eat on top. And we're like, the second that we ate it, all of us were like, that was way too big. And then just the Stella's just screaming.
It's just melting.
Yeah, and we're like,
What's your favorite way to catch them?
I mean, I like catching them just on anchor.
Yeah.
Put a ball out.
Yeah.
Throw a trash. I like a trash bag bite.
Yeah.
I love watching a trash bag rip or a bluefish on top.
yeah.
Have you
With the
seen
kite?
a kite bite yet?
With a bluefish?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my second favorite way.
Tough to beat that.
But everyone that eats a bluefish is like 900 pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want them that big.
Dude, they stop being fun once you get to like 29, apparently.
Yeah.
Because like there's a point where it's like I just want to drive the boat. Like this is
Yeah.
a young man's game. I'm
Yep.
good with this abuse. I just want to drive the boat. And I
Forward,
want to harpoon
left,
him.
back, right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to throw the
I
dart.
always want to stick.
Oh,
See, I love giant fishing, but if I want to catch a tuna on a freaking popper, dude.
Yeah,
That is my
I go back and
favorite-
forth between a
favorite
popper bite
thing
and a jig
ever.
bite.
yeah, but
like-
you don't want to catch a 600 pounder.
Oh, I did it last year. It was like we were out at the Sword grinding to find tuna, like light tackle and jig, and like I saw 2 sickles rise up next to 2 whales, and I took the popper and I casted it at them. Thing landed. I popped it once. Both of them went underwater, both the sickles, and it was cool to see them like that. Popped it one more time. Boom. School bus explosion on it. Fought the thing for like I don't know for a little while. Then we tried. So then we tried. I was
Never
with
ends
Devin
well.
Acton. We tried the cut like let out a bunch of line, drive away from it. Put it all on the deck, cut the line, tried tying it to the 130, like while we had the fish.
Oh,
And-
really?
Oh, yeah. And Devin's like, I've heard of people pulling this off. And we gave it a shot, and then the fish turned the other way, started flicking the line off the deck. We're losing all the line because the thing started running the opposite direction. And and Devin's like mid-tide knot. He's like, nah. Thing line went up, broke it, gone. We almost pulled it off, too. It was crazy. But seeing that
I would
giant
have tried
tuna-
crimping it, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think about that as like what we could have done. But seeing a tuna that big flush a popper was like,
Yeah,
And we weren't going for
you're not-
giants. It was a report of like
you're not landing that
70-inch
fish.
fish out
No.
there.
Anytime you fish a mixed bag bite, if you're like, oh, I'm just fun fishing, there's 40-inch fish in the mix, you'll always hook a fish way too big for what
Every
you fish.
time.
It's
Yep.
every single time. It's without fail. It sucks. But it's when you just pop it and hook it up another one and hope it's more manageable.
Yeah, you're like,
Have what's the coolest place your bass fishing career has brought you so far?
I mean,
Besides here, I'm just kidding.
has brought me so like I love Lake Ontario, but I've been there prior to the Elite
special
Series.
place.
That's a special place. St. Clair is a super special place. It's so close to the Central Time Zone, and when we get there, it's still Eastern Time Zone, so it is daylight at like 9 p.m. still,
Yeah.
and it gets light at like 4:15. It's the craziest thing ever.
Wow.
That place is really special. There's so many smallmouth in that body of water. It's ridiculous.
And isn't it kind of like a giant flat?
It's a giant sand bowl
Yeah. And it's,
with zero structure in it.
wow. Just roaming fish.
Just roaming live scope
Yeah.
fish.
Before live
It's
scope,
kind of it kind of sucks.
So if you were to fish St. Clair with no live scope now, kind of like they did before, like what's the name of the game? Just finding an area where you can blind cast over and over again and have
I
success?
guess
Yeah.
it would be difficult.
There's no
There-
rock
just-
piles or anything
There's
like that?
no rock piles.
Wow.
There's one shipping channel where it has deep water near it, and that's it.
Wow.
Everything else is like 9 feet,
That's crazy.
but it's also full of muskie too.
Yeah. I've seen plenty of muskie videos and stuff like that of like
Yeah.
crazy muskie fishing. Now the guys have live scope there. They're doing the muskie on live scope. It's like crazy. Some of the videos I've seen
Oh.
of people doing that. I'm like, wow.
Absolutely wild. Upper Mississippi, super cool place to see. Like it's just neat. Like I've traveled. I put 40,000 miles on my truck this year,
Crazy.
just driving around. Like it's awesome.
What's top on your species bucket list?
Like
Like any
Anything.
species, like I want to catch this fish.
As a
next.
fisherman, like what?
I want to catch a big eye on stand up.
All
Okay.
right.
Like I want to do a canyon strip and go catch a big eye. on
How
stand-up.
how like when does your bass season kind of
So it
come
kicks
down to an end?
kicks off in February, and then it ends. This year it's ending in November, but normally it ends in August.
And sometimes you get some breaks in between, or not really.
We always have the month of July off. It
Oh, there you
seems.
go.
So home for the month, then
Someone get this man to the edge. This has been the last 2 years. The canyon, the big eye fishing has been insane. Big eye on stand up is
But every time I get an invite, it's like, oh, I have to leave that day.
yeah.
Like I'm never home long.
Dude,
enough.
I average one canyon trip every 3 years, and I get like invited weekly almost. It's too much going on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey, hon, can I go away for 2 nights to fish? It's like, no. God. Or it's work or something, whatever. But good stuff.
But
I got one question for you. Something that I'm sure a lot of either kids my age or younger than me or anyone really like that really loves pro bass fishing and looks to it as a dream or a goal, like what is one piece of advice you could give someone, either a young angler, a high school angler? We have anglers in the Northeast that are going down to southern schools to college bass fish now too. Like, what's one piece of advice you could give someone that has the Elite Series as a goal? What's one piece of advice you could give them to try to attain that goal?
I would definitely say get out of your comfort zone while you're fishing. Fish with someone who's very good at certain regions and try and learn off of what they're seeing. Not necessarily like take their like, I don't want waypoints.
Yeah.
And that would be the biggest thing, is like do your own thing. Like, don't take someone's waypoints. Do your own thing, but learn how they fish these fisheries and like pick their brain on like what a shad spawn is, because we don't have shad in New Hampshire or Maine. It's like you have alewives and you have smelt, which act completely different than threadfin shad or gizzard shad. And just like on the water as much as possible, see as much as you can.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, do your own thing.
I like that.
Fish to your strengths. Don't dock talk can be the worst thing out there. Do your own thing.
Yeah. Block it out.
Block it out.
Yeah.
I
I like that. Kind of like how you fish in the Nationals, you know?
Fish to your strengths.
Yeah.
You don't care what anyone else is doing. Fish how you fish and see if it works.
Cool. I love it.
I love it. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming in, man. This was awesome.
This was so much fun.
Yeah.
I had a blast.
I like it.
Hey, we're going to probably talk for another hour about crazy stuff right after this anyways. Could probably be a 6-hour long podcast. If we
Thank
wanted
you
it
so
to
much
be.
for coming
Yes.
in. That was fun, and
I enjoyed it.
Good luck. Good luck in your next season, man.
Appreciate it. I have Champlain next weekend. So I'm fishing all three of the elite
EQs.
qualifiers.
Yeah. Cool. Good
So it
luck
should
with all
be
that.
fun.
Yeah.
Get it done, buddy.
Absolutely.
You like Champlain?
I love Champlain.
Yeah, me too. I want to get up there. I'm itching just to go do something up there. It's like every fish is a 3-pounder. It's
At
crazy.
least.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Good luck,
ounces
dude.
matter.
Well,
but
I hope they're all
appreciate it.
fours for you this season.
I appreciate
Or there,
it.
anyway.
If you want
I'm
to
gonna need it.
follow
Couple
along
files.
with Tim, get him on social media.
Tim Dube Fishing
Yeah.
on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep. And keep an eye out on the score tracker or what is it?
Leaderboard.
The leaderboard, yeah.
Bass Track.
Bass Track, yeah. Bass Track and Bass Live. It's a good dude. Fun dude to watch fishing. So cool, man. Thanks for coming.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, buddy.